the relationship between personal branding and corporate branding. So this is not so much going to be about personal branding for individuals who are in the content creation business and have their own podcasts. This is how do we think about the intersection between personal branding and the company that you work for, which of course has its own brand and its own marketing initiatives and so on and so forth. You know, we're just at the beginning of this right now, but especially 10 years from now, there's going to be a lot of interesting implications. Because among other things, once you've had a chance to establish a personal brand for some period of time, and then you go off to a new employer, it's not like all of the stuff you established with your name attached to it at your previous employer disappears. What if you go to a competitor? What if you change industries entirely? There's going to be a lot of complicated issues and complicated questions about the relationship between our efforts as individuals to build personal brands, both within our companies and also within the larger online community and offline community, and our companies' efforts to build their brand and how they all relate. So our panelists today, I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go down and let everyone introduce themselves. I'll say a couple of words and then let them say the rest. Here to my left is Doug Haslam, who does far too much Twittering, from what I understand. 20 years in media marketing and public relations, and he's a blogger, a podcaster, and he puts it an embarrassingly prolific Twitterer. So, Doug, if you could just tell us a little more about yourself and any major points you want to make to kick us off.
Sure. I check my stats. I don't do 40 a day. But well, as Stever said, I'm in public relations now, though I have a media background. I've been doing it a while. I've been involved in social media and how it relates to public relations for the last 5 years, and that's really where I started to see, and as Dan said, it's not just about social media, but for me, that's kind of where it came about. I started blogging with the company I was at the time about 5 years ago. And over the next year and a half or so, I was convinced by some people that you should really have your own separate brands as well. Part of the reason is you might want to leave, and which is what I did. I ended up going to Shift and actually make the connections on my own. So I started my own blog, which had similar topics. I tried to divide what I did for the company and what I did for my own blog, and sometimes merge them. But also other tools came along that helped me connect with a lot more people in my industry. Now, being in communications, and all these social media tools being communications tools, PR folks behind probably the tech geeks are among the first people on things like Twitter. But it really getting on there early really gave me a lot of connections to people. As Dan intimated in his presentation, things happened like being chosen to speak at events, not just here. Being the person in your company that's known that people come to. If our boss, I know there's some other people from Shift here, but if our boss can't speak at an event, he looks for other folks, and he knows that I'm willing to speak out on things because I blog about them. So I'm one of the people he goes to, and there are several people he could, but because it's a little bit of a squeaky wheel thing. It's like you're not really causing a problem, you're really causing solutions. So I don't want to ramble on too much about that, but just social media helping me to career network and building a brand within my own career is what I do. And while I meld that to my other personal pursuits like fundraising, athletic activities, things like that I've blogged about, I really feel that a personal brand and a company's brand are intertwined. People know you work for your company. And your company, and people know that your company has hired you. It goes both ways. The reputation of each feeds the other.
And our next panelist is Sarah Long, who is an HR professional and a generalist. She's really interested in the intersection of social media and the employment life cycle. So, Sarah.
Hi, I've been in HR for the past couple of years, and I've been on both the recruiting side and the general side of HR, and throughout that I've gotten involved in some social media initiatives, both with startup companies and Fortune Global 500 companies, and really watching the intersection between the adaptation cycles of companies where they feel comfortable integrating social media into their initiatives, and where there's an opportunity to use that as a recruitment tool. I'm hoping to provide some insight tonight as whether you're a job seeker or someone who is trying to create a personal brand within a company, how you can leverage that to further progress your personal brand and hopefully add value to your own company as well.
Our next panelist is Dave Barrett, who boasts the world's largest LinkedIn network of lawyers and legal professionals, which either makes him someone to worship or someone to run screaming away from if you had any kind of conflict. David.
Hi, folks. How many folks use social media for work? Okay, and then how many folks use social media for work in a type of job where it's not your own company? Okay, so quite a few. I think one of the reasons I was invited tonight is to talk about the intersection, or the legal issues with ownership of social media accounts. And I think those of you that work for another company, you know, not just the entrepreneurial folks, but those of you that have some kind of role that uses your social media accounts, you know, there's a potential conflict there down the road if your employment relationship would. And